Hey, gang, and welcome back to the hallowed halls of Magic's monologue. Magic here, your curator of personal growth and the sage keeper of the keys to today's tome of wisdom and knowledge. Today's video, the top 5 reasons long-distance relationships are a trap. Or we could go with the top 5 reasons long-distance relationships don't work most of the time. But before we get into it, join me on Locals at magicsmonologue.locals.com and on X, as we all know, formerly Twitter, as I'm working to grow on both these platforms. Let's begin the journey. If you are a regular on my channel, then you've heard me repeatedly say long-distance relationships are a bad idea, especially for you guys in the military. And by the way, many of you need to hear this loud and clear. A long-distance relationship with a woman you're not married to is a bad bet. Military guys especially. So if you know a military guy who's not married yet but thinking about it, send him this video. Actually, scratch that. It's a sucker's game. Now, before you protest with your "but she's different" nonsense, I want to walk you through why LDRs almost never work, and more importantly, why they don't work in your favor as a man. I'm going to break this down not just from a logical standpoint, but from the hard biological truths and evolutionary incentives driving female behavior. So sit tight, because we're about to dissect the top 5 reasons long-distance relationships fail, especially for men, and why you're better off chasing excellence, not texting hearts across time zones. Reason number 5, you're financing a fantasy, or think of it as financial drain. You think love is enough, but try booking a last-minute flight for $400 and then paying for dinner, hotels, and gifts every time you visit. A long-distance girlfriend becomes a luxury subscription you can't cancel. You're emotionally and financially invested in a woman who lives in a different city, state, or country, while she's enjoying attention and options locally. According to Self Financial, 41% of relationships fail due to financial stress. And guess what? Long distance costs compound that. Whether it's international travel or simply Ubering to the airport every few weeks, you're throwing money into a hole for a woman who gets real-life connections from other men while you stare at a screen. Meanwhile, she's on Instagram, soaking in thirst traps and DMs. You're footing the bill for a fantasy while local guys can offer her what you can't: physical presence and sexual attention. Reason number 4, emotional bandwidth collapse, sometimes called loneliness and mental exhaustion. Here's the thing, men and women experience distance differently. You might think she misses you, but what she misses is the feeling of being wanted. She misses the attention, the security, the reassurance, and not necessarily you. And when those needs aren't met, she won't suffer in silence. This is where you see the good morning texts start to slow down. FaceTime becomes a chore instead of a ritual. She starts feeling emotionally drained, and guess who becomes the emotional sponge for all her mood swings? That's right, you, the digital boyfriend who's now part therapist, part pen pal, and not much of a man in her physical reality. Over 50% of long-distance relationships report emotional strain as a deal breaker, and it's no surprise. Humans are wired for proximity, especially women who rely heavily on oxytocin and bonding through physical touch. You can't build a lasting connection on Wi-Fi signals and emojis. Reason number 3, Hypergamy never sleeps. This one should be obvious. If you're not with her, somebody else probably is. Harsh? Sure. True? Absolutely. Women are biologically wired for provisioning and protection. When the man they claim to love isn't physically around, her instincts start to look for security elsewhere. Think she's loyal? Let me introduce you to hypergamy, the natural tendency of women to pair up or trade up to the best available option. It's not evil. It's not manipulation. It's biology. And while you're away, grinding at your job, building your business, she's getting attention from Chad at work, who makes her laugh and brings her coffee. Even if she doesn't cheat physically, she's still emotionally cheating every time she flirts, entertains compliments, or mentally checks out of your relationship. And let's not forget, 55% of long-distance relationships cite fear of cheating as a main source of conflict. You're fighting a battle against nature itself, and most of you are or will inevitably lose, especially when you find out you go to visit and she has been cheating with somebody else the whole time. To keep videos like this coming, at least you could do is give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, subscribe and share this with your friends, or at least a friend who's in a long-distance relationship. Reason number 2, schedules kill romance. Or you could think of it as time zones and missed moments. If you're living in Los Angeles and she's in London, you're waking up when she is winding down. Even if you're just a few hours apart, life gets in the way. She wants to vent at 10 p.m., but you're still at the gym. You want to talk to her after dinner, but she's already out with her friends. The result? Missed calls, failed expectations, and resentment. 63% of long-distance relationship participants say clashing schedules destroy communication. And in a world where women crave spontaneity and validation, a boyfriend who's too busy to reply in time starts looking like a burden instead of a partner. Your attempts to connect begin to feel like work. And let me tell you, romance that feels like a chore quickly dies a death. And here we are. Reason number 1, no physical intimacy equals no leverage. Or you could think of it as biology trumps romance. At the end of the day, you can't compete with proximity. You can't hug through a screen. You can't whisper in her ear over Zoom. And you can't take her to dinner when she's had a rough day. And more importantly, you can't have sex, period. And by the way, phone fun doesn't count and only goes so far. 66% of people in long-distance relationships cite lack of intimacy as the number 1 relationship killer. And from a biological perspective, here's the bitter truth. When you're not there to meet her emotional and physical needs, some other man will be. Don't kid yourself. She's human, and she's driven by the same primal urges as everyone else. Even the most well-intentioned women struggle to stay loyal to a man who isn't in their physical orbit. Think about this concept, guys. You're not her boyfriend. You're her distraction. So what's the lesson here, my brothers? If you're not married, and I mean legally, emotionally, financially, and logistically committed, then a long-distance relationship is just a feel-good trap. You're not being the emotional safety net while she's leaving room for a physical backup. You're financing her independence while she's quietly resenting your absence. And the worst part, you're delaying your own growth. You could be using that time to improve your body, build your business, expand your social circle, and become the man that other women chase. Don't let loneliness sell you on illusions. A real man builds a life so rich, so magnetic, that women want to be where he is and not the other way around. You don't chase across the globe to be tolerated. You stand where you are in your power and let the world come to you. And if she can't, let her go. Remember, gentlemen, be the oak tree, not the paper plane. Stay grounded, stay sharp, and as always, keep your frame tight and your standards tighter. If you found value in this video, then help this channel grow by doing 3 things. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell, and share this with at least 3 friends who need to learn from this channel. Confession is good for the soul and this channel. Send me your personal relationship stories to share, or if you see an article online you think I should cover, send the link to stories@magicsmonologue.com. Through this, you're leading by example, encouraging other men to rise higher, and ensuring we live a life of passion, purpose, and prosperity. If you're on YouTube and want another video like this one, then click here to watch 10 phrases women use that instantly turn us men off. And that video is coming up right now.